In this lecture, we will see textile manufacturing process under performance assessment of textile industry. This is a sort of introduction. Textile manufacturing process. Under this, we have two important process. One is spinning and weaving process. Spinning and weaving process. And the other one is wet process. First of all, we will see the summary of all these processes that will give us an insight into the textile manufacturing process. Under spinning and weaving comes first is yarn fabrication, yarn or thread, yarn fabrication, and then we have fabric production. Under yarn fabrication, we have 7 steps. It begins with opening of bale, and concludes with spinning. In between, we have processes like cleaning, carding, combing, drying, and finally roving. So the steps under yarn fabrications are opening, cleaning, carding, combing, drying, roving, and spinning. We will see a bit detail about spinning here. Under fabric production, we have weaving. Clothes are weaved using two types of threads known as tana bana, and we have knitting. You must have seen a lot of knitting in and around you. And under wet process, we have wet processes for one is for weaving and another is for knitting. We will see the wet processes, what are for weaving and what are for knitting. Now we have a sketch of textile manufacturing process in our mind. Now we can read it further. So we begin with yarn fabrication. Yarn fabrication is a process which converts fiber into yarn or thread. Another important fact to know about yarn fabrication is that it is entirely dry process. Exception can be when yarns may be dyed and finished as a final customer product. Otherwise, yarn fabrication is entirely dry process. And the steps for understanding and seeing this process, you can go through textile vlog. It is available online in YouTube. Textile vlogs. It explains the process very well. First is opening or blending. In textile manufacturing process, raw material, cotton and synthetics are received in compact bales. Bales are, in Hindi we call it gatri, or in Sanskrit we call it bhara or potlika. It is tightly and rigidly bound, that is known as bales. And here traveling type machine removes and separates the compressed fibers from each bale and open into the smallest flock gently. The second process is cleaning. Here cotton is passed through a series of machines known as beaters, where opening and cleaning takes place simultaneously. Cleaning removes strange matters. These matters may be plant parts or dirt. Other steps are carding, combing, drying, roving, and finally spinning in fabric production. You can see about these in online machines available here. As I have mentioned, textile vlogs, etc. We will read a detail about a bit detail about spinning. Four types of machines are used in spinning. One is ring spinning. These are the machines or equipments for spinning. This is the most used machine in India. Another one is rotor spinning. It is also widely used in India. Another one is air jet spinning. machine, and another one is friction spinning. As far as energy consumption in yarn fabrication is concerned, ring spinning takes nearly 31% energy, so it energy saving potential is also there. Then just now we have completed yarn fabrication. Next we will see fabric production. Under fabric production we have two processes. Fabric production, one is weaving and the other one is knitting. Weaving is the most common used for producing fabrics. We have to know two sets of thread is used in weaving. One is warp yarn and the other one is weft or filling yarn. It is popularly known as Tana and Bana. These two threads have local name Tana and Bana. In weaving, there is a process known as sizing. Sizing is done to prevent the warp yarns from breaking during weaving. Now let us understand sizing. Sizing is a process when sizing agent is applied to the warp yarn. It is important to know the name of these sizing agents. What are the sizing agents that are applied? There are many. We are mentioning three only, and you must know it. Polyvinyl alcohol, another is a starch, and another is acrylic based. So we are mentioning these sizing agents. Further, we will see that another process known as desizing is required. in which these sizing agents will be removed. So it is important to understand that in weaving we have sizing process, and this process sizing agent is applied, and the purpose of it is to prevent the yarns from breaking during weaving. So it is important that during weaving we use sizing process. Then we come to knitting. It is understood easily. In knitting, fabric is formed through interlocking series of yarn loops by using hooked needles. The next process after fabric production is wet processing. We have seen that in fabric production we have two processes. One is weaving and the other is knitting. So we have wet processes, separate processes for weaving and separate wet process for knitting. For weaving, the processes that are required are singeing and pre-treatment, because we have seen that in weaving we have process known as sizing. So pre-treatment will be that of desizing, then scurrying, and then bleaching. These are the pre-treatments. And then we have mercerizing, then we have dyeing and or printing, and finally we will have a process known as finishing. And for knitting we have the process bleaching, dyeing and or printing, and then finishing. So we will see these all processes in a bit detail so that we can appreciate it. So we begin with singeing. You must be aware of the word singe. Singe means to burn the surface of something lightly. It is related to burning of the surface very lightly. What is burned in fabric? Protruding fibers, any fuzz, any fluffy material. These are singed. To get what will we get after this? We will get a smooth surface. What we call roa or thing like that. These are the protruding fiber, fuzz, fluff. These are the material that we generally see on our garments. So these are singed, these are burned very lightly so that to remove these fibers, fuzz or fluffs and make a smooth surface. Another process, next one is desizing. In the weaving we have seen that sizing agent is applied to improve the strength of the warp yarn. Now we have to remove those sizing agents. Sizing agents that we have, sizing agents that we have applied where polyvinyl alcohol and starch, and another one is acrylic based. These were the sizing agents that were applied during weaving. Now these need to be removed, and the process of removing for different sizing agent is different. So desizing is the process of removing the sizing ingredients or agents from the gray fabric. That is, gray fabric means the fabric that is impure, fabric that has impurity. For removing polyvinyl alcohol, we use hot water in the presence of peroxygens, and for removing starch we use enzymatic or oxidative treatment. And for acrylic based sizing agent, it is removed using hot water at 80 to 90 degrees centigrade. So desizing is the process of removing sizing agents during weaving process. Now the other step is or process is scurrying. The word scur means to clean something by rubbing it very hard, by rubbing it very hard. Scurrying process is carried out to remove impurities such as wax, fatty acids, oil, etc. from the fa fabric. This process is carried out in alkaline condition. Alkaline condition, we will use sodium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide under high pressure and temperature, nearly 100 degrees centigrade. Next process is bleaching. Bleach, the word bleach means to make something. Bleach means to make something white. Using a chemical. Bleaching is used to whiten fabric and yarns. And what are bleaching agents that will be used? Bleaching agents. You have to remember the name of these bleaching agents. One is hypochlorite. This is at will we use at room temperature. And the other bleaching agent is hydrogen peroxide. It will be used for 90 to 95 degrees centigrade. Once bleaching is complete, the bleaching agent must be completely removed either by through washing or through the use of enzymes. So it is very important to remove these bleaching after bleaching process is complete. Now come to another process, mercerization. Mercerization. This term has come after the name of John Mercer, 1791 to 1860. He was maker of textiles, and this process has got name after John Mercer, and this process is known as mercerization. Mercerize means to treat cotton fabric with an alkali to increase its strength and reception to dye. Means dyeing could be used to a depth and impart a lustrous silky appearance. So it is an important process. We can see this process will increase strength and reception to dye and impart a lustrous silky appearance to the fabric. In mercerization, fabric is treated with cold sodium hydroxide solution 18 degrees centigrade for 20 to 40 seconds. When we use mercerization process, it causes swelling of the fiber that results into an increase in dye intake. Another process is dyeing. Dyeing is the process of coloring. Dyeing is employed to give an all-over shade to the fiber. It involves diffusion of dye molecules into the textile fabric, which imparts the required color. It is important to know some dyeing machines. We will read about these machines when we will performance assessment of equipment. Dye machine, jigger, another one is winch, another is jet dyeing. We will see about jigger, and finally we have a process of printing. This is a process by which colored patterns are produced on the fabric. Now we have seen wet processing, and now finally we will see finishing. It is the final operation necessary for making the textile presentable and attractive. Finishing improves appearance, texture, and quality. There are four operations under finishing. One is drying, next is providing dimensional stability, another one is calendering, and finally softening. We will see these operations one by one. Drying, this is the process of removing the moisture from the fabric using drying machine. Using drying machine, we remove the moisture from the fabric, and drying machine that we will read for drying is a stentor. In performance evaluation of textile equipment, we will see drying process also. Another one is dimensional stability, providing dimensional stability. Dimension means length and width. For providing dimensional stability, heat setting at nearly 140 to 150 degrees centigrade is used. This process is used for dimensional stability. What is done here? Required dimension of length and width of the fabric is achieved here, and for setting, heating medium used is either thermic fluid or steam. We will learn about thermic fluid also in performance assessment of energy utilities in textile industry. Thermic fluids are oils like furnace oil, high speed diesel, etc. Now we have a process known as calendaring. There is a word calendar, and its origin is the word in cylinder, that is a machine with rollers. Now we will see calendaring is a finishing process used on cloth in which fabric is passed between rollers at high temperature and pressure. As the name implies, calendar, cylinder, machine with rollers. So cloth will pass through rollers at high temperature and pressure. This is the calendaring. And now finally there is a process known as softening. After calendaring, the fabric becomes a little stiff. Breaking down of this stiffness is called softening. Softening is the breaking down of stiffness that has come after calendaring. Thus, we have seen the manufacturing processes in textile industry. You were watching Fazari Energy Audit channel. Thanks for watching.